Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. I think that I was told that if I could take a few questions.
Yes, sir, about 15 minutes.
Okay.
This is not necessarily for you, Congressman Paul. How many of you folks want Congressman Paul to be elected president?
Thank you.
A very quick suggestion, which I think might help Ron and this audience very, very quickly and very effectively. Carry in your pocket, folks, an American Silver Eagle. And every chance that you get, pull it out and say, hey, have you seen any real money lately? And there's a real conversation opener for you, and you can then say, this is your ticket to independence and freedom, and it's sure as heck a good way to elect Ron Paul at the same time. So carry the American Eagle, one ounce coin, only cost you 13 bucks. A little more, not much. It'll work, folks.
I'll take the silver dollar, too.
No, you won't.
Dr. Paul, what do you think it'll take to get enough delegates at the Republican nominating convention next year? What do you think it'll take to get enough of those people to nominate you president?
I'm sorry, would you paraphrase that again for me?
Well, how do you go about?
How do you get them?
What do you think it'll take to get enough delegates to vote you the nomination?
Well, you know, it's an ominous task, and we started off very slowly, targeting 5 states, figuring that if we just do well in 1 or 2, we can move on and upward. A couple things has happened. The campaign has sort of exploded. In some ways, it's out of our control, which is good in that there's so much spontaneity to it. But the other thing that has happened is they've moved all these primaries up to February 5th, which makes it very difficult for us with a couple million to compete with somebody that has 50, 70, or $100 million. And that's what's happening. We were strong on the grassroots, but it does take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot more of what we're doing. We're sort of on an exponential curve on the number of people that are calling in and sending money. But it probably depends on Giuliani. Depends on how he does this week. Maybe he'll help me out again.
Dr. Paul, could you comment on the Secretary of Defense's recent comment on how Iraq is going to go along on the Korea model?
On the Korea?
Right. I mean, like, you know, he was...
50 years?
Right, yes. You know, like he was saying in Congress, he was saying, well, you know, our new model is, you know, it's going to be like Korea. Yeah. It seems to me that that's really, you know, like a wide open shot for you. Could you sort of comment on that?
Since I don't think a real Iraqi government exists, and they're just puppets of ours, so I don't think it means anything. I think the people, the Sarder and these others realize, and most of the Sunnis as well as the Kurds know that we're going to be there a long time at the rate we're going unless we have a new foreign policy. They assume that you know, we're building permanent bases there, and that we have an embassy bigger than the Vatican, 100 acres or so. I mean, it's huge, and it's not going to change. And then our administration tells us, well, if they vote in the assembly to have us go, we'll leave. You know, who believes that? They're not going to allow them to make the vote, and then we're not going to leave anyway. You know, the whole foolishness of this whole thing, that's why non-intervention is much easier to defend. Just leave, you know, instead of this tinkering around, should we be in this country but not the other one. You know, even Wolfowitz admitted, you know, we dug up that quote on Wolfowitz that said that one of the main reasons why it's great to be in Iraq and have bases there is now we can leave Saudi Arabia, because that was the reason Osama bin Laden hated us, because we were in Saudi Arabia. I mean, he said this seriously, as if taking over two Muslim countries, Afghanistan and Iraq, and occupying them is going to satisfy the Muslims of the world, and we close down one base in Saudi Arabia? I mean, it makes no sense, but he actually said that seriously. So, no, I think the 50-year plan is there, except that we can't afford it. The empire's coming to an end. And we just may well get a different foreign policy one of these days.